up, Gen Nation? What's going on? I'm here with Wade Pool. Oh, you know what? I gotta get your camera nice and zoomed in. Let everyone see who I'm talking to here. I see you got a drink. What are you drinking before we get into all the good stuff?
A little Savage and Cook.
Savage and Cook. I never even heard of that thing.
Yeah, as you can see, I have quite the collection, my friend.
I actually ran out of whiskey. I know you have some whiskey over there. I thought that I would join you with a drink, so I poured myself some tequila. This is the Rock. This is the Rock's tequila, Terramana tequila. So before we get into oh wait, salute. Sorry, I don't want to ignore you. We got a couple people in the chat here. I see ScytheX. What's going on? We got Big Matty Cats. What's going on, buddy? And Mr. Buttersworth. What's up, man? Welcome.
What's up, Buttersworth?
Two of the best beards in the biz. Thanks, Big Matty. Mine's not as thick as a Zuplex over here, but
I try, man. I try and keep it,
I try to keep them clean though, like in next Friday. I keep them clean though, So I have a few things. I mean, the Rangers are playing, just so everyone knows. I will shout out the updates if I see them. If you're not live on the Ranger game, oh well. I'm going to shout out the updates anyway. Right now, the Rangers are up 3-2. So, so there's that, because we're all Ranger fans in the GGEN group, from what I understand. And I have a bunch of things that I've wanted to talk about. I haven't been able to get on, and I'm glad you were able to join me so that we can chat about these.
Absolutely.
For anyone who maybe doesn't know yet, even though we made the announcement on Facebook, Zuplex is joining the mod group for GGEN, so congratulations and welcome. And I know if you want to tell them some of the kind of videos you're going to do real quick before we get into the shit I want to talk about, let's go.
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to be doing a bi-weekly series on upcoming comic books and like what's hot to buy right now. What can you get at the dip? What's going to be more valuable down the road with all the Disney Plus stuff coming out. I'm going to do a series on that. Go a little in depth on the storylines and like why I think they're going to be, why I think they're going to pop.
Nice.
Why I think they're going to go up in price. Why I think they're going to spike. And some stuff that you may be able to get at a dip right now, So I'm still putting together all my research and everything like that and trying to put it all together, but it should be coming out next week.
So would you say you'd be angry if I admitted to you that I generally read my comics digitally through Comixology on my iPad?
You know what, man? Like a lot of like hardcore collectors and stuff that get upset about the digital side of it, but I listen, whatever gets people reading, right, I think is the way to go, Me myself, I've read digitally before on some storylines that I was behind on that I didn't get a chance to pick up. Because unfortunately, by me, all my local comic book stores have shut down.
Right.
So
that's kind of what made me start reading on the iPad, because I had one place by me. I live in Central Jersey. I had one place by me, and it shut down. There's no other place that I can go to besides ordering online.
Yeah, exactly. And I was kind of in the same boat. So, I mean, I read digitally. Thank God another comic book store opened up. And I was able to start buying again. But also, like, we're adults now. It's kind of hard to justify having 8 to 10 long boxes in my house. Just taking up space. You know what I mean? I got comics everywhere. My girl looks at me half the time and she's like, what are we doing with these? Like,
I mean, I've kind of fully adjusted to the digital life in my gaming and my movies, because I just don't like having to find space for everything. It just gets kind of frustrating. Real quick, I need to catch up on some comments. So, Mr. Buttersworth, I apologize that you're not a Rangers fan. I'd like to know who you're a fan of, but I'm still going to give you the Rangers updates.
Listen, we're not all perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Big Matty Cass over here, he's asking for some Dragon Ball Super manga analysis. So, and I'd actually be very interested in that. I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball. I've always been a big fan of Dragon Ball. So
Dragon Ball for me has always been... I love the stories of Dragon Ball, but I hate watching it.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's just because I'd rather watch it. If I could binge it, it'd be a different story.
Right.
But like when Dragon Ball was coming out, I hated sitting there for a half hour and everybody just floats around talking
and nothing happens.
And nothing happens.
It takes 7 episodes to get to the fight.
Continuation of the story, and you got to wait until the last 2 episodes for there to be some action and stuff. But it's...
Yeah, I mean, I did that with Super. I basically recorded a whole bunch of the episodes, and then I eventually sat there and just watched the whole thing. You have some requests already, man. Big Matty Cass is asking for a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle the release. He read it digitally himself. So thank you for joining the digital world.
There's a lot of the new books. They're not worth much now, but Turtle books are always going up, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but the first appearance of Jettica, the female Ninja Turtle, I know that book's been spiking. And Ninja Turtle Adventures, which was the one based on the cartoon, that book's been spiking because that's the first appearance of Bebop and Rocksteady in comics.
Yeah, I like Tokar and Razor.
Yeah.
I like them from the movie.
Absolutely.
That's what I grew up with. I was actually trying to show my daughter Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secrets of the Ooze on TV the other day. She wanted nothing to do with it.
I was trying to explain this to my girl the other day, how amazing this movie is, and she didn't believe me.
Yeah, unless you grew up with it, I don't think that people really understand.
Yeah, as I was listening to Go Ninja Go in my truck with her.
Hey, Vanilla Ice needs to make a comeback for sure. ScytheX said he just recently watched both movies back to back. Don't sleep on the third one. The third one is entertaining. It's not as good as the first two, but it's an enjoyable movie. Yeah. So, but I personally, I know we're getting off topic, off our train here, but TMNT, the animated one, is actually probably one of my favorite Turtle stories in general. I love that movie. I think it's really well done.
See, I like the first live action one, man.
Well, the first live action one is probably up there. It's number 2 for me. But the animated one was done so well.
That movie that gets lost. Like if you go back and watch it, there's some heart-wrenching moments in that movie, man.
That's a different time. That's a time where a PG movie was allowed to be for kids, but still kind of treat them like adults. You know what I mean? You don't get that anymore. But anyway, I digress. We're going off the rails here. Let's get into some of the stuff I want to talk about. This has kind of been a long time coming. I want to talk about Eternals first. So first question is, did you watch Eternals?
Yes.
So
twice now.
Now 2 questions for you. What did you think after the first time watching it, and did that change after watching it a second time?
So I liked it better on the second watching.
ScytheX is gone. I don't know. I guess he didn't watch the movie yet. He doesn't want any spoilers. We're going full spoilers here because honestly, it's been long enough. You should have watched this movie. It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus.
You got no excuse.
Zero excuses. I liked it better the second time I watched it. The first time for me, I think it was just... It's a slow movie.
It is. Oh, very. Compared to what we usually get, it's very slow.
It's extremely slow. So sitting in the movie theater, I think this movie's better watched at home.
I agree. Which is weird, right? Because it is a big movie.
It is. It's definitely a big movie. The ending is huge.
Big Matty Cass says it's so underrated, which I 100% agree with. I actually saw it with TheCaptain, with our boy John himself, in theaters. And we both, in theaters, I loved it. I really thought it was excellent, and I didn't have many complaints. Yeah. After watching it the second time at home, I agree it's a better movie to watch in the comfort of your own home. But I could kind of pick it apart a little bit for some of the things I didn't like or would have done differently.
Yeah. I think, first off, let me just say this. The Eternals is a wacky story. It's hard. It was hard to read in the comics. So bringing it to the big screen, even when they announced it, I was like, I don't know how they're going to pull this one off. You know what I mean? It was a very big undertaking by them.
Yeah, but they pulled off Guardians of the Galaxy. They pulled that off easily.
So that's what I was just about to compare it to, because the thing about Eternals is that they brought in 8 characters all of a sudden out of nowhere with no backstory, no idea of who they are, and they expect us to care about them. Right. And there was a big disconnect there. With Guardians, you're dealing with a smaller group, 5 characters. One of them is a tree that just says "I am Groot." Right. So there's not a lot of even though James Gunn brought us a lot of character development with him, there's not a lot to go with that. You know what I'm saying? So you're really dealing with 4 characters. Right. Well, I think Big Matty Cass just said that it should have been a series on Disney Plus. It was slow and crammed so much, and at the same time, it could have been so much better, which I 100% agree with. He also said to set up such a big next stage of the MCU, it's hard to make it a series, though. I agree and disagree. I think the big problem when comparing Eternals to Guardians of the Galaxy is that
the main characters of Guardians of the Galaxy is Peter Quill and arguably Gamora maybe, but it's really his story. And everyone else, we're watching the relationship develop between everyone else and him, and how he becomes a leader. This movie, The Eternals, was essentially 8 characters that can go on to be main players in the MCU. They can all, the idea is they can all essentially move on to do their own movies or be a part of someone else's story. So the problem is they each needed that moment to like connect, and to have that many characters connect, you really can't do that in a 2.5 hour movie, you know.
It's kind of hard too, because, you know, the Eternals by design don't have a backstory.
Right. You're making it up as you go.
They were created for a purpose. You know what I'm saying? They were created for a purpose. So there's nothing to like bring you to like humanize them to a point where you're like, oh man, like Peter Quill when he says goodbye to his mom as a kid and she dies, and then he gets taken up by Yondu, and you know, and then even in the second one where he's trying to connect with his father, and then he realizes Yondu's been his real father all along. Like,
absolutely,
those are real human emotions that we can all connect with on some sort of level. Whereas with the Eternals, it's kind of like, well, this is Icarus, and this is what he does, and blah 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 blah, and this is I can't even remember, Gilgamesh, and this is what he does, and this is you know, I can't even remember all their names.
I got them down. I'm good with the names. But here's the thing though. So Big Matty Cass just said each Eternal should have had an episode to build up the connection, and then closed out the arcs together in like a final episode or a final event. I think that would have been a smarter way of doing it. I think a lot of what I like about the movie is a big portion of that is I'm giving Marvel or Kevin Feige in particular credit that we're going to get answers later. Because there's a lot of, I wouldn't call them plot holes, but there's a lot that needs to be explained. Like, for example, why is one of them a kid? There's just, once you hear the backstory of why they were created and all that stuff in the movie, there's zero reason to have one as a kid, one as a woman, one as a man. They technically should all just look alike. I don't care if they have an accent or if they're Middle Eastern or whatever it is, but they should have all essentially looked alike and just with different powers.
So one of the things I was going to say I liked about it was that it ended strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It ended strong. I feel like it implied so much of what we might get going forward.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, is that like the way it ended leaves so much potential for the future of that franchise that I think it's going to end up being really good.
I agree.
You got rid of half of them, right? Essentially, like what the kid winds up becoming human,
right? So she can't do anything.
Icarus dies, Gilgamesh dies.
Well, you got the guy who controls minds. Now I'm blanking too. He's in space.
Yeah.
With Thena.
With
Druig.
Thena,
Druig and Thena are both in space.
Druig, Thena, and the fast chick.
Right. I forget her name.
They're all in space.
Yeah.
So you've created, and now you have Cersei back on Earth, and she can end up going along with Dane Whitman and the Black Knight thing.
Right.
And you can have her involved in that and everything like that. So, and the other Eternals that are in space can go forth and now probably bring us Galactus.
Well, I was just going to say that. So clearly, to me, that whole last scene where Arishem shows up on Earth and the clouds split, to me, that was clearly a visual kind of shorthand to test audiences if they're ready for something like Galactus. Because with Fantastic Four coming, Galactus has to come at some point. So I think that was basically Marvel being like, no one thinks we can do it the right way, but check this out. And the moment I saw him appear in the sky like that, I freaked out, because in my mind I almost thought it was Galactus in this movie. I was so excited, And it could be, so, the idea is he's going to use their memories to judge the Earth and decide if it should be destroyed or not. I have a feeling that he's going to decide that it's not worth being around, and he's going to send Galactus as that's his way of destroying the Earth. And then that's where Fantastic Four is going to come in.
They're going to retcon Galactus as a Celestial.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do, which I think makes sense.
Ego in the comics isn't a Celestial, but in the MCU he is.
Right.
So I think that's going to be the Celestials and the Eternals are going to be their way of dealing with a lot of this galactic side of Marvel. I
agree 100%.
it's just easier to comprehend that way as far as like, because like there's only so many different like superpowered beings you could bring in and be like, oh no, he's superpowered, but he's not a celestial and he's not in the turtle.
I mean, they also gave us a hint, not a hint, but they also basically prepared us for them being able to possibly beat a creature of that size. You know, in this movie they killed a celestial in a creative way, I thought. So, you know, now it's open, like this can happen. They can actually do this. Big Matty Cass just said they showed that they can really display the size and scale of Galactus effectively in theaters, which is I totally agree. They really got me excited for that kind of mentality. And then in the What If show, there's a scene where Ultron, superpowered Ultron with all the stones, essentially, you know, pretends to be Galactus and swallows a planet trying to fight the Watcher. Yeah. So they're clearly getting us ready for something major like that.
Absolutely. I mean, like, Galactus has got to be an endpoint at some point. You know what I mean?
I would think so. But he can't be a 10-year threat. You know, maybe I would think maybe for a year. Like, we find out he's on his way maybe at the end of the Fantastic Four reboot or something like that. And then, you know, by the end of that year, whatever is coming out, they deal with it.
They're going to draw it out for a long time, man.
You think so?
I think we're gonna get Fantastic Four. We're gonna get Eternals 2. We're gonna get Guardians 3, maybe even Guardians 4. Thor: Love and Thunder. God only knows how many more Thor movies Chris Hemsworth is going to do because he loves
it. Thor, so, and I want him to do more and more. If he can continue to be as good as he is,
I'm completely fine with it. It doesn't bother me at all. You know what I mean? So I think we have a long ways to go because I think they're going to bring in. I'd assume that they're bringing in Nova at some point. We know,
and in Guardians 3, I think Nova is supposed to be introduced. Right, Adam Warlock and Nova are both supposed to be at least introduced. I don't know.
We're gonna get Adam Warlock. We're gonna get. I don't know if they confirmed Nova yet.
I thought they did, but I could be wrong. Maybe Nova's getting his own movie.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they did. It would make sense. So we also need Silver Surfer.
Right. Well, I would love. Although I liked Silver Surfer in the old Fantastic Four movie, they did a good job. That's the one thing they did a good job with in those movies.
Yeah, the one thing they got right in that movie was Silver Surfer.
Big Matty Cass just asked about Kang. Isn't he going to be the 10-year threat? So this is like, I have these conversations with a few different people, and I have, I think, a different opinion than most. I don't know, based off of what Kevin Feige has said, that we're going to have one villain as the big bad the way Thanos was. I feel like Kang is going to be the threat for a couple of years, but we already know that he's playing a major part in Ant-Man 3, and that's not coming out till next year. So I think basically Kang will be the big bad until Ant-Man 3, and then they'll kind of deal with that threat. And then I think maybe after that, they'll find out about Galactus or something, and that'll be the threat for a couple of years. Like, I don't think we're going to have one major baddie for 10 years, and then they deal with it in another Avengers Endgame. I think they're going to deal with them kind of one at a time, but over a few years.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I think we're going to see a bunch of major villains come and have overall story arcs throughout multiple movies.
Right, that's what I think.
You know, I think you're going to have Kang. I think you're going to have Doctor Doom. And then ultimately it all leads to Galactus somehow.
Okay.
You know,
maybe, Galactus, again, like the Celestials use him as the tool to like wipe out a planet if they start messing with things too much. Yeah. They get too strong or something. Mr. Buttersworth just said Nova has not been confirmed yet, just Adam Warlock. Yeah. So in Guardians 3, Adam Warlock will be in it. I could have sworn I saw something about Nova maybe getting his own movie or something, but maybe it was just a rumor.
They've already laid the groundwork for Nova, in my opinion. He should have taken on the Captain Marvel role in Endgame.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
I think that would have been the better way of doing it, but I understand they needed to push Captain Marvel. It would have been cool to see both of them show up, maybe.
That would have been a nice surprise. I mean, I think clearly Captain Marvel was kind of a push by Marvel because Wonder Woman did so well.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and I mean, you kind of, with seeing now with the Galactic side of things that we're going, you have to bring Captain Marvel in at some point.
Of course.
Otherwise, you're a massive hole there. So we have to have Captain Marvel. We have to have Nova. We have to have Silver Surfer, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Right. I did see something recently that James Gunn said for if they do a Volume 4, that he's willing to do Volume 4, but it's not going to be the same Guardians of the Galaxy team.
Yeah, I read that too, which makes sense. You can't have the same group all the time. It's just like Avengers. People were kind of going
I think he's going to kill a bunch of them off.
Well,
in volume
it's
3.
heavily rumored that Rocket's getting killed in the next one, which is
I saw
heartbreaking.
all those things about like the Yondu
With the blue,
volume 2 with the blue, and this one's brown, kind of like Rocket. Maybe I think he kills off if Gamora's in it. I think he kills off Gamora.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think Nebula lives. I think Mantis and Drax die.
Well, yeah, I mean, Batista doesn't even want to play Drax anymore after this one, so
Yeah,
they're not going to recast that character. They're going to move on.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens. Groot could die. They could always get another Groot at some point because he kind of never dies. So
yeah.
Plus, there's a whole planet of his kind that all call themselves Groot.
Right. So they can easily just keep bringing him back. Even if he does die, they can just bring him back for another movie.
Yeah, well, we can have Groot for the rest of our lives.
Speaking of death, let's change topics here. Change from Marvel to DC. Are you caught up on the Peacemaker show? Oh, wait a minute. I got a Rangers update here. Hold on. The Rangers. Oh no, I still say it showed 3-2. What do we got here? Strom chucking Nux. Oh, Strom got into a fight. Okay, I got you.
Nice.
Mr. Buttersworth did say he wants us to kill he wants James Gunn to kill the Trash Panda, which I don't disagree. I'm not against it. But anyway, so Peacemaker, you caught up on the show?
I'm all caught up on Peacemaker.
So I have not watched Doom Patrol or was it the Titans or like that. I believe all these shows are based in their own universes. There's not some shared thing. But
Doom Patrol and Titans are shared.
They are shared. So I have to watch those, but I want Peacemaker to be the start of a brand new DCEU. I love the show so much. I think it's amazing.
I don't count Titans and Doom Patrol. Because they're, in my opinion, being a fan of Titans forever, like it was one of my favorite comic books growing up. Mm-hmm. Doom Patrol, I loved. The series are trash.
Oh,
they're
really?
Very bad. I hate them personally. Like the Titan series, I think is one of the worst things they've ever done for Titans.
Wow. Those are some big words, man. That's a big statement.
Listen. It is what it is. Like it's completely overacted. The guy, like, it's completely miscast. None of it is Titans.
That's it.
Doom Patrol's a little bit better, admittedly. Doom Patrol's a little bit better because it's a little wackier. It's like a little like Doom Patrol's a weird book to have.
Right.
So let's put those aside because they're not nearly. And you can watch 2 episodes, one of each, and you will realize that they are not nearly the quality that Peacemaker is.
Peacemaker is just unbelievable. I mean,
Peacemaker is so far and above them.
I think
you can't even put them in the same category.
I think it's officially time to say that James Gunn is probably one of the best creators / directors, writers out there. I mean, especially in the comic book world, he just knows these characters. He has a respect for especially the unknown characters that people don't really are aware of. I personally never even heard of Peacemaker, and I now want to go and get his comic books and just read all about him. John Cena, in my opinion, plays the role flawlessly. Oh, yeah. And it's just a good show. It's funny. John Cena doesn't get enough credit for his ability to improv and just kind of go off the cuff. He could play the emotional scenes fairly well, but for the most part, his comedy that is just hands down his best quality as an actor.
Oh, 100%. He plays that dry, like straight man, like cocky straight man, really, really well.
Absolutely.
Look, I love the guy. I think he's doing an excellent job as Peacemaker. I think Peacemaker was a role built for him.
Oh yeah, and he owns it. I mean, he's wearing the costume to every interview he goes on.
I know.
Like he clearly is in love with the character.
I was so mad he didn't show up to the Royal Rumble. Like I just wanted to be like 3, 2, 1. Do you really want to take it?
And dance down the entrance. That would have been unbelievable.
Dance down the aisle like.
That would have been believable. But honestly, it wouldn't be in character if he didn't show up with the shotgun and starting to pop heads. Mr. Buttersworth just said he thinks Peacemaker's great, and in his opinion, he loves the Titans, or loves Titans.
I mean, listen, we could all have opinions. Some of them could be wrong.
Yeah, I gotta watch Titans, then I'll give you guys my opinion because I haven't even watched it yet. But Peacemaker's so good that now I'm kind of falling in love with the DC side again. And I want to go watch some stuff.
I'll tell you something right now. Like I watched the first episode of Titans, then said I was not going to watch any more episodes.
Okay.
And then, like a year later, after season 2 came out, I was like, you know what? Let me give this a chance. They brought in Jason Todd. Let me see what it's about. Maybe I didn't give it enough of a chance. I got through like midway through the second season, and it was rough. It was tough to get through.
You see, like,
I finally got there, and I was just like, I can't.
Oh, we got someone else joining in. Hold on, let me just fix the camera real quick. We got One Shot in the building. Let me fix this camera real quick. What's up, buddy?
What's up? How's my audio?
The audio sounds good. I got no video yet.
I don't have the video yet.
Okay. Hold on, let me just get the camera set up so we can see you. How do I fix this?
I wouldn't worry about camera right now. I'm driving.
No, I know, but I got to get Zuplex back on camera.
I don't have the audio in my left earbud.
Why are you all flat? That's a little weird. So, One Shot, we're talking right now about Peacemaker.
Haven't watched any of it.
Well, it's unbelievable, and when you get a chance, you definitely have to watch it. You have to get into it. It's absolutely
really
worth it. It's a funny show. It's a heartfelt show. It's violent. I mean, it's just a good show.
I don't want to watch the shit out of it. It looks good. It looks like it's funny.
Big Matty Cass, he's asking how Titans and Doom Patrol hold up versus the Arrowverse TV shows. Now, again, I haven't watched Doom Patrol or Titans, but I loved the shit out of the first couple seasons of Flash, and I loved pretty much most of Arrow except for maybe 1 or 2 seasons in the middle. Otherwise, Legends of Tomorrow, in my opinion, was one of the best shows on the CW, and I never watched Superman and Lois because I'm really just not a Superman fan, so I never even gave it a shot. Neither did I watch Black Knight Lightning. It didn't seem that interesting to me. So
did you watch Batwoman or Stargirl?
No, I wasn't interested at all in either of those. And it's not because they're women. Just to make it clear here, it's not because they're women. All right. I personally am of the belief, and this goes actually for the DC universe as a whole. I do not think we need Batman and Superman to be main characters. We all know who they are. They can be secondary characters, but Peacemaker is a perfect example. You can take a character that people don't know and turn it into the A-list face of the franchise. Just like Marvel did with Iron Man. They took Guardians of the Galaxy, for freak's sake, and made them A-level comic book characters because the movie was so good. You could do the same thing. Peacemaker, I'm reading that there's not a lot of people watching Peacemaker, which is horrendous. The show is great, and you really should watch it. If you like Deadpool, you would absolutely love Peacemaker.
You know what the thing is? There's not a lot of people watching it, but everybody that's watching it is saying how amazing it is.
Right.
So I think because it's on HBO Max, which is a kind of outlier streaming service, I think they're still getting like their legs underneath them as far as like getting out to people.
That's true.
And it's not on traditional HBO or traditional Cinemax. I think it's hindering it a little bit as far as getting out to the public, but Cena's doing a great job of promoting it. And I think the more people that see it, the more people are going to fall in love with it. And I don't see it like, listen, James Gunn is killing this game right now.
Oh, yeah.
With absolutely. I want him at the helm of every weirdo character. And just he makes it all work. Like the fact that we have Vigilante in a show right now is absurd.
Right. And he's a better Vigilante than the Arrowverse did.
He's in the full costume.
Yeah.
He's in the full stupid looking costume.
And he honestly steals the show.
Got that stupid helmet on, and it works. It works.
One Shot. What did you watch the Arrowverse superhero shows?
I'm not too caught up on Arrow.
So for me, Arrow was phenomenal. So now, all right, hold on, wait. Let me preface this by saying I'm a giant fan of Spartacus, the TV show. It's my number one favorite TV show of all time, which our man Manu Bennett was in as Crixus. He's the one who plays Deathstroke in Arrow. So by default, I would have liked Arrow best anyway, just because he was such a great character in that show, and he came back a couple seasons later to reprise the role. Having said that, I think Arrow was the best show out of all of them. It kind of stayed the most consistent, except for maybe 2 seasons in the middle. And then just Big Matty Cass just said that the Arrow and Flash have been good. Legends is amazing, but he hasn't watched the others as well because he's kind of over Batman and Superman. Mr. Buttersworth also said that the women's shows had a weak story character-wise. They were great, but the story really hurt the show, which I agree with. I feel like those shows became more about the fact that they were women and less about the characters themselves, and that's a problem. I don't care that Batgirl is a woman or Batwoman's a woman. I don't care that Supergirl had her own show. I wanted those shows to be good. I did watch Supergirl a little bit, but it just wasn't. It was not a good show. It was just a boring and slow show.
Here's what I'll say: is Arrow. First 4 or 5 seasons were absolutely amazing. It kind of started to falter a little bit for me. It started going a little downhill. I liked the Flash more.
For the first 2 seasons.
Huh?
For the first 2 seasons.
No, probably for the first 4 or 5 seasons.
Really?
I thought Flash was really, really good, and then it started getting too convoluted with the time jump, this jump, that jump, and then they started bringing the legends in, and it got too much. The crossover episodes were cool to watch, but they also kind of got a little lame, One of the things, I think there was more heart in the Flash show than there was in Green Arrow.
Probably. I feel like Green Arrow stayed a little more focused overall, except for there was definitely a time period where Greg Berlanti and I forget who the other guy was who created the CW stuff, where they got a little too distracted by trying to build out these universes and basically set up all these other shows, which was fine in the beginning when they just were setting up the Flash, and then they just set up Legends, but then they were trying to do Black Lightning and Supergirl and all these other shows, and then it got a little too much.
It got to the point, especially with Legends, where they were just let's see what else we can do. Let's see who else we can throw in this. And it's just instead of developing the characters you already have, you're just adding in more shit to the pile. Supergirl, which is probably the one I'm most disappointed by, because I really liked the first season.
And I think Supergirl in general is a better character than Superman.
Yes, absolutely. I think she's amazing as Supergirl. I think she was doing a really great job. And then it just transformed into this mess of a show where they they couldn't figure out where to go with it, and it just wound up being stuck.
Yeah, I agree. So
I just don't like DC shit.
Yeah, see now, One Shot, I wouldn't say you're 100% right, because there's a lot of potential in DC stuff. I do like DC comics. I like a lot of the DC characters.
There's potential in it, yes, but they're not executing it the way it should be executed.
They're not. And what is the problem? And I'm not saying it's easy, okay? It took a long time for comic book movies in general just to be taken seriously and done well. But, they haven't learned any lessons from Marvel. They continue to rush these characters out. They kind of rush through major storylines, and
it's a timing
I don't get it.
It's a timing thing, right? So while Marvel was slowly building up the Infinity Saga, DC was coming off the heels of the Nolanverse.
Right.
So then they had to figure out where to go to next. They were 10 years behind Marvel when they started trying to do all this shit. They should have never even tried to create a DCEU.
But see, I don't agree. I don't agree with you there. They still should do a DCEU, but just take your time. Listen, but if they take their time, by the time they get to a Justice League the right way, 5-6 years from now, the right way you get to a Justice League, people are going to be tired of Marvel. Or at least they're going to be itching for something new and something more gritty and whatever. I don't hate the fact that Snyder wanted to go with a darker, more vicious kind of DC world, but you can't say you're going to do that and make everything look gray and dull, but then still try and make it funny. They clearly were confused as to what they wanted.
At this point, does anybody even want another Justice League in 5 years? Do you want to wait another 5 years for another Justice League movie?
See, I want to say yes, but I don't want Batman and Superman in it. I want
but that's who's going to be in it.
Well, that's
that's going to be their two main two.
Suicide Squad is the Justice League. Suicide Squad, the James Gunn Suicide Squad, is what DC's Justice League should be. They should be just going that route.
But see, that goes to my point, right? Instead of trying to create a shared universe of everything, what they should be doing is just creating solid standalone or trilogy type comic book movies. Give us the stories, like, because DC's comic books, writing wise, are so far and ahead of what Marvel can do, what Marvel's done in the past, that some of the best stories are DC stories. So instead of trying to like shoehorn all this stuff into like a Justice League movie, just give us the Dark Knight Returns.
Which
give us a
is not
live
wrong.
action Dark Knight Returns.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They gave us Joker. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be connected to everything. It could be its standalone self. Now they're gonna make a second one. Hey, great. Let's do it. I'm all for it. Let's see that movie. I want to see that movie. I want to see that character the way he was played again that way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, all their best movies so far. Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. All their movies so far that haven't been connected have been fantastic. Aquaman, the Wonder Woman, except for Wonder Woman 84 was garbage. Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad, Shazam. I mean, all these movies have been good, and they're not really connecting to any kind of major storyline.
Man of Steel, like, I would have rather seen a true Superman Man of Steel trilogy than ever even gotten to the Justice League.
Right, I don't disagree with that.
You could have had Batman come into it at some point.
Big Matty Cash says, I'd rather see a Green Lantern.
I just want them to stop fucking recasting for the same role. Like, how many Batmans do we need?
See that now? That's
I'm fine with it.
But see that
give us a different story every time.
So that's the thing, though. Like, I feel like you sign on Robert Pattinson as Batman, right? And so far,
he's not Batman.
I'm not really sold on his look. Maybe he can convince us in March.
I can't wait for that movie.
I feel like as Batman he looks fine, but as Bruce Wayne, I'm not sold. But you know what? I'll give him a chance. I have no problem giving him a chance. But sign him on for the 10-year deal that you did with Nick Fury. Let him be or Samuel L. Jackson. Let him be the Nick Fury type who just appears as a side character in multiple movies. He kind of brings in other characters. He kind of helps bolster those. If you say so, Big Matty Cass says he'd rather see a Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter movie. If you tell me tomorrow that they announced Martian Manhunter for 2023, I'll be kind of excited. We'll see what it looks like. But if you tell me that Martian Manhunter is getting his own movie and Batman's going to be in it, Robert Pattinson as a major part in the movie, I'm a lot more excited for that. Same thing with Superman. If you keep Henry Cavill on, because I thought he was a great Superman. If you keep him on as Superman, but use him to bring in Green Lantern or to bring in, I don't know, I can't think of any other characters right now. But use him as a second Shazam. Put him in the next Shazam movie or whatever with Black Adam. Like, that makes me that much more excited. You know what I mean? I feel like we're just not. They're not utilizing their. They have two of the arguably biggest superheroes in the world, Batman and Superman. Everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows their origin stories. You don't need to explain to anybody who these people represent, and yet they continue to fail with those characters. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Here's what I want. I want a standalone Jason Todd movie. Give me that.
Right. Yeah. That's the other thing. Like, enough with Batman. That's it. Like, finally, I think they're introducing other Batman heroes. They're getting us ready for a Nightwing and all that kind of stuff. Good. We don't need Batman anymore. Michael Keaton apparently signed on to be in multiple movies as a retired Batman. They should have done that a long time ago. Yeah. We don't need that.
Shout out to Robbins, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, all of them. Give me those guys. That's what I want. And like the fucking shit that they had to go through without directly having Batman in it.
Right.
Give me something along that line.
Right.
Make it fucking thrilling.
I would be 100% down for that.
But I don't think you could do a true Jason Todd movie without Batman.
Yeah, I mean, they would need to do, like, the first one would need to be a Batman movie, essentially introducing Jason Todd and setting him up to kind of take the mantle almost and, pass the torch. I would think you need to do that, but Kreider just scored number 33. Kreider is on top of the league right now, boys.
You got to kill him.
I think so, yeah. You have to kill him. You have to kind of, don't be afraid to pull the trigger. I think that's the problem, is that they're afraid to pull that trigger and kind of give us that moment, you know what I mean? Which I'm sure it scares them because Doomsday was just garbage in Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the problems is that instead of giving us the Dark Knight Returns, they gave us Batman vs Superman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have the literature there. It's the greatest graphic novel ever written.
Right.
Right. And instead of just like adapting that to the screen, you decided to like completely change it and give us Martha.
Martha.
You know?
Oh God, don't even get
Like,
that's like a whole other video of me just screaming at the camera lens.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, I'm excited for this next Batman movie. I think as a year two Batman, because I think as a year two Batman, Robert Pattinson fits the role. I think he fits the role as a year two Bruce Wayne. I think everybody's doubting this kid. Like, everybody doubted Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker, and I think we're going to get the look. Looking at these trailers, this is a more comic book accurate version of Batman than I think we've seen in any of the movies.
I think it's funny the amount of kind of anger in Steve's voice when he says, "Why?"
You don't know the fucking disdain I have for that casting.
But see now, so there are things I agree. I agree with Zuplexcity.
Brokeback Joker. He's everybody's favorite Joker, bro. No one thought Ledger was going to do it. They were like, he's coming off Brokeback Mountain with Jake Gyllenhaal and the spitting in the hand and everything else. He can't be the Joker. Now, 3 years later, everybody's got ha tattoos on him saying, why so serious? You know what I mean? Like,
Brokeback Joker. Brokeback Joker might be the best thing I've ever heard in my life. I think One Shot, you need to keep in mind that back in the day when Michael Keaton was hired to be Batman, nobody thought he'd be a good Batman. When Ben Affleck was hired to be Batman, nobody thought he'd be a good Batman. And
I didn't have a problem with Batfleck.
But you got to give. I think you got to give Robert Pattinson a chance to prove you wrong.
A chance, bro.
Having said that,
if he sucks, I'll be the first one to sit here with you guys and be like, he was terrible. Like, I was wrong. Sorry, guys. I tried. Like, what do you want me to do?
Big Matty Cass just he mentioned that the trailer actually got him hyped for the Pattinson Batman. So the trailer got me hyped for the movie. So for me personally, I'm a big fan of the Riddler. I've always liked the Riddler, not the Jim Carrey version, like the Riddler from the comics. And I've always kind of said that the Riddler could be a Joker kind of level villain and antagonist for a Batman movie. You know, if they do it right, if they really play to the strengths of the character himself, and it seems like they're doing that in this movie. So for that alone, I'm excited.
Zero Year?
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is giving me 0 Year vibes.
Right, which is the kind of the main reason why I'm excited for the movie. But I just think Pattinson's, like I said, his Bruce Wayne is just not. I don't know. I like the suave kind of playboy Bruce Wayne, and he seems more emo.
If it's 0 Year, he's not that Bruce Wayne yet.
Which is true, because if you're
is he emo?
This is 0 Year.
But if you're comparing
emo in 0 Year,
sort of One Shot,
like is he My Chemical Romance fucking Batman?
No, but you got to remember. So the Batman or the Bruce Wayne we're getting in this new Batman movie is the same as the Bruce Wayne we had in the beginning of Batman Begins. Whereas that movie skipped past those first couple of years. This is focusing on those first couple of years.
You want to talk about a terrible Batman? I will die on this hill every single time. Christian Bale was not a good Batman, man.
No, I don't think he was a good Batman at all. I mean, Christopher Nolan knew how to write the character, but Christian Bale didn't bring anything to the role.
I disagree with that, too. I think Christopher Nolan had no idea how to write Batman.
Really? No, I thought...
No. He knew how to write the Joker.
Oh, well, yeah.
He didn't know how to write Batman. I'll tell you right now. Everything you need to know about what Christopher Nolan knows about Batman, look at The Dark Knight Rises. Batman's girlfriend gets killed and he quits. Batman's whole idea of being Batman is vengeance for people that get killed.
Well, The Dark Knight Rises is just a bad movie in general. I mean, there's so many plot holes and problems.
This is my point. You have Tom Hardy playing Bane, probably in a most amazing performance. I loved him as Bane. And then you made him the freaking sidekick again.
Yeah.
Bane is supposed to be Batman's greatest villain. He's supposed to be his toughest villain. The Joker's his biggest arch nemesis. Bane is his toughest villain. Bane is the one that broke the bat.
See, all I want...
He's the most tactical and everything else like that.
All I want in life is...
Gave us... Oh, it's Talia. Man, shut up. I'm done with you.
All I want in life is for Joker to appear in more than one movie. Can we just get that? Because, the Joker's not supposed to be a one-and-done bad guy. He's supposed to show up over and over again. The idea of that, the way they used Heath Ledger, where he was not really the main bad guy, so to speak. He was more of just a force of nature that just took over the movie. That's Joker. 100%. That's how Joker should be. Yeah. He's unpredictable. You don't know what he's gonna do, and he's always 5 steps ahead of you. That's the Joker I like.
I'm okay with the one movie thing, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
it only pays off if they bring him back eventually.
No, 100%.
Right?
You need to bring him back.
In the comics, the Joker, there's a storyline with the Joker. That storyline ends. The Joker disappears. And then whether he's locked up in Arkham or he gets away and he's disappeared and whatever. And then you don't see him again for the entire year in Batman comics.
Yeah.
So the following, he's got to be used sparingly.
Well, okay. So let me rephrase. I want him to be in more than one movie, not back to back. But it sucks that Heath Ledger passed away. Obviously, that was a tragedy in itself, and that was terrible just in general. But Joaquin Phoenix, that Joker doesn't even interact with Batman. Was, and I love that movie. I think the movie was fantastic, and I would love to see him go at it with Batman, and just kind of be the carefree the version he was at the end of that movie. But that's not going to happen. Joker in that universe, Joker's by himself. It's just Joker. I want them to establish a Joker. Let Batman catch him. Don't kill him, like they did at the end of The Dark Knight, and then bring him back in the third movie, bring him back in the fourth movie or whatever. But
do you think that Joker would have chemistry with somebody playing Batman?
I think so. I think the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, at the end of the movie specifically, when he finally just said, "I don't really give a shit about faking it anymore. I'm just gonna be me and just kind of live my life," would be an unbelievable antagonist to a Batman. But Zuplex, to your point, the next Joker movie can't have Batman as a main character. Yeah. We need the Batman first. We need to get to know him, know the character, know the backstory, whatever it is. Let him do his thing and prove himself, and then kind of draw, almost like the end of Batman Begins. Give us the Joker card moment where we see that Joaquin Phoenix is back as Joker, and he's got his sights now on the new Batman.
I think the Joker's your finale.
Yeah, I agree.
Now that you've established a standalone Joker movie, Joker 2 is him becoming the Clown Prince of Crime Joker. Right? So he's going to become the underworld leader and this, that, and the other thing and everything else. You establish your Batman. You go through 2 movies of him against the Riddler, and then maybe bring in Hush. I'd like to see Hush.
Well, Hush, I'm getting a lot of Hush vibes for the Robert Pattinson movie too.
Yeah, I think it's just that stupid green trench coat that he's wearing.
Well, I feel like they're almost combining Hush. It feels like in the trailer they're kind of combining Hush and the Riddler a little bit.
Yeah, because he says he knows who Batman is and stuff like that. I think you give us Riddler, you give us Hush, and then you give us Joker.
Right.
But I would like to see, but this doesn't happen unless they establish the Bat family first, is then to do the Snyder rendition of Death of the Family.
Oh, God. Zack Snyder, man, he proved with his Justice League.
No, Scott Snyder I'm talking about.
Oh, my bad. You know the comic better than me.
It's a great story. The Joker has the doll maker cut his face off and he wears it around like a mask.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen those. I never read those comics though.
It's an insane story, and he actually beats Batman, but not really. It's weird.
Mr. Butters, real quick, Mr. Buttersworth says, I like the direction this new Batman movie's going. I prefer the Batman to be gritty and dirty. It feels like a Frank Miller Batman, which is true. The trailers in particular really feel like a Frank Miller. And then Big Maddie Cass says, I hope we get Clooney's Bat Nibbles back. Which, you know what, we might get him back in the Flashpoint movie, because it seems like they're bringing every Batman back.
It's gonna be a mess too.
The moment they showed Ezra Miller in a Flash costume that looked like it was straight out of the Injustice 2 game, I wasn't into it.
Yeah.
I call him Tron Flash. I'm not. It's just not. He wasn't a bad Flash in the movies he was in, but that movie does not look like
good. I actually liked him in the Justice League movie.
I thought he was good. I thought
he played the Barry role really well. I just think that the look of him overall is just terrible.
I like the fact that they're bringing in previous actors to play the character, reprise the roles. There's a lot to be excited about, but just the straight up Flash outfit with the neon colored yellow on it, I'm already kind of checked out. I'll go see it in theaters, but we kind of got off the rails. We were supposed to be talking about Peacemaker, so
no, sorry, you get me talking about Batman. I'll go all night.
I just want to real quick before we switch topics again. Peacemaker again. If you like Deadpool, if you're into Deadpool at all, especially the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, you'll absolutely love Peacemaker. It's got a similar vibe. It's got the rated R violence. It's got the comedy, the improv style. Excellent
His
show.
best friend's an eagle who hugs him. Come on, people.
Yes,
Go
he
watch
does get hugged by an
Peacemaker.
eagle. And if you're iffy on John Cena with his ability to improv and just be funny, this show is gonna 100% erase that from your memory. It's just so good. But now, all right, enough Peacemaker, enough DC, because we get heated. Let's talk about something else that gets me heated. We're gonna talk Star Wars now. Let's talk about the Book of Boba Fett. Have you guys watched?
Which I haven't watched any.
All right, so
I want to watch it, but I don't give a shit about spoilers. So.
Right. So I will say, I mean, we're not gonna go into too many spoilers. I will say, One Shot, it's absolutely worth watching as a Star Wars fan. 100%, it's worth watching. There's no denying that.
I trust me. I want to watch. Boba's my favorite.
Having said that, though, after this show, Boba will not be your favorite because the Mandalorian, the Mandalorian is clearly the best Mandalorian bounty hunter that's ever been created by Star Wars.
This is so tough. I wanted this show to be good so bad.
I'm not on that. I don't know.
It's just, well, hold on, wait, before we get into it, because I got to read this comment. Mr. Buttlesworth said that, remember that Cobblepot is going to be in the Batman movie, so don't sleep on him. And I don't want to get too much into it, but I do want to say that they've already announced a Penguin TV show for HBO Max, which means that Cobblepot is a small part of the movie. He's going to get caught by Batman and disappear.
Sure he's the opening.
They're doing too much.
He's the opening.
Why is he?
He's the opening.
Fucking series.
I totally agree. One Shot, I agree with you. Zuplex, I agree with you. He's going to be the first 20 minutes of the movie, maybe even the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then we're not going to see him again.
First 10 minutes, you're going to see that everything you saw in the trailer, you're going to see in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Right. Remember, a lot of these marketing companies now have this habit of cutting these trailers together with only the first 15 minutes or so of the movie to avoid spoilers at the end. So I agree 100%. We're not going to get too much of him, and then they're setting him up for a show, which is already a problem.
Doesn't need
Right.
Every character does not need a series.
I agree. And that's proof that DC has not learned any lessons. They are already announcing a TV show for a character that they don't even know we're going to like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, But anyway, all right. Let's get over it because, that's a whole nother... We're going to have a whole nother stream about DC.
I know. Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett. It's a problem when the best show in the entire season so far did not include Boba Fett. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. Now, here's my thing on it. Everything that's happening currently in the Book of Boba Fett episodes, right? Without... I hate the flashbacks.
Right. Don't
want to see them. The first episode, fine. You gave us him crawling out of the pit. Everybody wanted to see him crawling out of the pit. I know Patton Oswalt and the Parks and Rec thing. It was a great little callback. It was awesome. That's it. Just the whole reason why Boba Fett is the most beloved character from the original series is that there is no backstory to him.
Right.
He is a mystery.
You've taken away a lot of the mystery there.
Bounty hunter. He does what he does. This is what he does. Blah 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 blah. Right.
Right.
There's that old saying that there's that meme of Boba Fett where it says least amount of lines in the series, everybody's favorite character.
Right. Right.
So by giving him this deep, entrenched backstory with the Tungans and the this and the that, it's just every episode is just nothing but backstory. We're not moving the overall story along.
Right.
You gave me Black Chrysanthemum.
Right.
I was so excited when I saw that giant ass Wookiee come. I was like, that's Black Chrysanthemum. Oh my God. Here we go. And then it's you show Black Chrysanthemum, and then we did 25 minutes on Boba Fett roaming the desert with the Tungans. You know what I mean? I was what?
So here's the thing. So I totally agree, Steve. The first, every episode. So they're basically the Boba Fett appeared in 5 episodes. Episode 6 was basically the Mandalorian 2.5. It was all a setup for the next season of the Mandalorian. You didn't even see Boba Fett once in the entire show. The first 5 episodes, they keep flashing back to basically what happened when he escaped the Sarlacc pit to our current time frame. And One Shot, Zuplex, I agree with you that it's too much of these flashbacks. But the reason why is I'm okay with showing that he was, or saying that if the story was that he was a hardened bounty hunter and, he was a kind of a take no prisoners kind of guy, and then he's had a change of heart. But we have not seen the version of Boba Fett that was a intimidating, no-nonsense bounty hunter. It's the same problem we had with Darth Vader. We were told that we were supposed to be scared of Darth Vader. his look was like, damn, this guy's intimidating. But in all the movies, you never saw Darth Vader do anything intimidating until Rogue One. Then all of a sudden, the end of Rogue One, you're like, okay, I get it. This is why people were scared of him. Even if you, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played Star Wars Fallen Order on consoles or computer, but at the end of that, you get another scene with Darth Vader where you're kind of like, this is why people were scared of even the name Darth Vader. So they're fixing that. With Boba Fett, we still have not got that moment. I continue to say this about just Disney in general. I mean, about Star Wars in general. I'm a Star Wars fanatic. I'm a Star Wars geek. I have Star Wars tattoos. You know, I'm a giant Star Wars fan. But there's a lot of mistakes they're making. And one of them is, instead of giving these legacy characters their own show, they should use them to boost up new characters. So, for example, Boba Fett, we should just see him as an antagonist in multiple shows. He should be hunting down people. Give us the Boba Fett that makes us scared, and then you can give me the story of him escaping the Sarlacc pit, getting caught by the Tuskens, and having a change of heart. Suddenly, I'll actually connect with the character. But right now, it's just slow as can be. Like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's so frustrating. And then the fact that Mandalorian, just hearing his little sound at the end of episode 5, got me more excited than any other moment in the entire freaking series, which is ridiculous. And then now, after this last episode, I've literally kind of put my hands up. Mandalorian is the new, but he's the right Boba Fett. He's the one we should have gotten the whole time. 100%. I want to build my own Mandalorian armor because of how much I like this character.
I think that's the other thing too. I think Boba is too much taking his helmet off.
I agree. Because you're losing that, like you said, you're losing that mystery. There's no.
We've seen what he looks like in the prequels and all that other stuff. Like, I get that. You know what I'm saying? So you could show him maybe a little bit more than Mando took his helmet off. But the whole reason why we loved Mando so much is because you had all this mystery around him. They went a little bit into his backstory with the droid stuff when he was a kid. But then it was just like, then I joined the Order. And now this is the way. Like, this is what we do here.
There's not much. And it just proves that you don't always need a detailed backstory. Sometimes you can just give us enough.
Twice. Twice in 2 seasons. And everybody's just like, this is awesome.
How impactful was that? Especially in season 2, he takes his helmet off to say goodbye to Grogu. And I'm like crying. Just because he took his helmet off. I'm like, oh my God, that means so much.
10 minutes, Boba's got his helmet off. Like, whatever, I take my helmet off. This is what I do. Meanwhile, for the first 3 movies, you didn't take it off once. So stop it.
No, it doesn't. One shot, it's worth watching. All right. If you're a fan of Boba Fett, if you're a fan of Star Wars, it's 100% worth watching. I don't want to talk anybody out of watching the show. One, because I want to support these shows, and 2, because it's a good show overall, but it's very slow. Don't expect it to come out of the gate flying or to be intense like the way Mandalorian season 2 was. Like, it's none of that stuff.
There is some really good stuff in it. That's the thing. Like I said, you brought in Black Chrysanthemum. You're bringing in a lot of the EU stuff, right?
Right.
You're bringing the twins, the Jabba twins, the Hutts, right? You're bringing in, like, you're starting to see the gang warfare that goes on Tatooine and stuff like that, like Mos Eisley and everything, and that's all that stuff's great. I love it. I love every time they're in the present and they're going through, like, hunting the mare down and doing this. Even the stupid freaking motorcycle bikes.
The Vespas. Oh.
Yeah, listen, I was like, all right, they're young kids with cybernetics. Of course, they would have stupid looking bikes because kids drive stupid looking bikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it made sense to me a little bit. You know, like, you bring in Black Chrysanthemum, you bring in the other bounty hunters, you bring in the assassins, right? The Hutts, all of this stuff, and then, like, you give us 5 to 10 minutes of that stuff, and then 25 minutes of him being thirsty in the desert.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so Mr.
I'd rather see
Buttersworth.
more of the recent stuff than
I hope.
Flash.
Well, I hope going forward, we only have 2 episodes left. It's not a long show, so, like, they can't go back in time that much.
I'm hoping they're done with the flashbacks, because, like, basically they've explained everything. They explained how Fennec got the way she was, why she's so indebted to Boba.
But they didn't really explain why she's indebted to Boba, though.
Saved her life.
All right, it wasn't enough. Like, he saved her life, and he was ready to let her go, and then he said, but I could use your help. And she was like, yeah, all right, you got me. I just wasn't, I don't know. I'm really...
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I'll buy it. She seems like the type of person that would be, like, indebted to somebody for saving their life,
Yeah, I guess. But I feel like we didn't get enough of her. I don't know. But Mr. Buttersworth says that Mando right now is the best. He loves Boba Fett, but he's a bit disappointed in the Boba Fett show, which I agree. I agree.
I think we all are.
I mean,
everybody I've spoken to has the same exact gripes.
Yeah, and this episode that's coming out tomorrow is actually going to basically a team up with Boba Fett and Mandalorian. So it's going to be a good show because Mandalorian's in it.
Exactly. I'm hoping to just stop at the flashbacks now and just keep it moving.
I agree, and this next episode. See, my concern though is that Mandalorian's in it, but this next episode is a setup for the finale. 2 weeks from now is the finale. So next Wednesday the show's over. So, we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely very disappointed. I feel like they've had good, the Mandalorian has been excellent so far. A lot of the Star Wars stuff that's come out, the Rebels show, the season, what was it, 8 of Clone Wars, like, all been really, really well done. So I was really looking forward to this. And I'm just disappointed so far with the show. I think it could be a lot better, but, that is what it is. So let's just get over Star Wars, because I could go on and on about Star Wars. The way you get animated about DC, I feel like I'm in the camp of Star Wars fans that feels like we don't need to always be on Tatooine. We don't always have to connect to a Skywalker or a Palpatine. Let's see some new shit, and that's why I like The Mandalorian so much. Even though I wasn't a fan of Luke Skywalker's cameo. I'm just going to come out and say it. I thought that it didn't need to be him. It could have been Cal from Fallen Order. I liked Ahsoka being in the show. There's a lot of other characters that could have used to expand the world, and we don't need to keep coming back.
You're right. There's a lot of other characters they could have used, but fuck if my hair didn't stand on end when I saw Luke Skywalker, bro. Come on, man.
I'm not saying the way it happened was bad, because I agree with you. Like, I got chills seeing the Jedi go at it, but the moment he pulled the hood back, I was like, come on, man. There's so many other Jedi out there, or there should be other Jedi out there. But I am excited for the Obi-Wan show. Let's just get that out of the way, because Ewan McGregor is just the man. So, all right. Those are all the specifics I wanted to talk about. Now, the captain himself shared on the Facebook group. If you're not on the Facebook group, you better join the Facebook group, because, let's be honest, that's where a lot of the action is. He shared this picture that I'm sharing on screen with a bunch of announcements. One shot, I know you can't see it, but I'm going to go through them all. I basically thought it'd be kind of cool if we just kind of look through them and just kind of see what just kind of talk about what we think about each one of these, what we think is going to happen. So I'm going to pull up on my phone so it's a little easier for me to see. But first we got January 28th, which I think is actually been pushed back now, is Morbius.
It's been pushed back, yeah.
What do you guys think about that movie? Because I can tell you right now, I'm not that excited about it.
I'm not that excited about it. I think it looks corny.
Give me a minute, Chris.
Yeah, no problem. I think I really, people, ScytheX has crucified me for saying this. All right, but in the Sony, all right, hold on. Let me gather my thoughts for a second. The only studio that seems to really know how to make special effects look good is Marvel, is Disney. Like, DC can't do it. Doomsday looked like a cartoon character. Sony can't do it. Every time Sony gets involved with a heavily CGI character, it's cartoonish. It looks like plastic. Morbius, in the trailer, the idea looks good, but the execution looks lacking. It does not look good. When he goes full-blown vampire, I don't think it looks that great. I think it looks like we're watching a CG movie.
I think that's the reason for the pushback. I think that's the reason why they moved it back to rework the CGI, because I think they got a lot of feedback saying, like, this looks like crap. This looks like a 2003 Marvel movie. And listen, we don't want to go back to the Fantastic Four days.
Right. We don't want that. And that's what we're getting, though. We're getting, to me, Morbius looks like he belongs in the R.I.P.D. And if you've seen that, you know how bad the animation was in that one.
Like, and they got the animations right, because in my opinion, I know you hate Venom movies, but you have to admit they look good.
Oh, you make my stomach hurt when you say Venom.
Carnage looked good, though.
See, so Carnage did look good. There wasn't enough of him, and it wasn't violent enough, but he did look good. I'll give you that.
But why can't they, like, they could do that with Carnage. They should be able to do that with Morbius. But for some reason, they can't figure it out.
But honestly, Morbius shouldn't even be a CG character. He doesn't require that much special effects. Maybe adding the mist and the speed, fine. But you telling me you can't make Morbius look like Morbius with just prosthetics and makeup? It's ridiculous. Like I don't, you know.
Yeah, you need very minimal CGI with it. Then the CGI's whole face is just.
I don't hate Jared Leto as Morbius. I think he's a good choice and he's a good actor. But like, come on, that's.
I also don't care about Morbius, bro.
I just don't really care either. I'm only excited for Morbius.
Spider-Man villain.
But I'm only excited for him because you know, all this is leading towards Blade and some sort of crossover at some point. So fine, and I do think that Andrew Garfield might get more time as Spider-Man now. And maybe he'll go at it. Excuse me, the Morbius will be in his universe. You know, so for those reasons, I'm kind of excited. But for the Morbius character himself,
I think Moon Knight's going to bring us closer to Blade than Morbius does.
Well, clearly, you would know better than me. What's that superhero group in the comics where it's like Punisher, Blade, Moon Knight,
Midnight Suns?
Midnight Suns. That's their name. I couldn't think of their name forever. But I feel like we're getting there. That's clearly being set up. So like, I'm excited for that for sure.
I think with the Moon Knight stuff. I think that's going to get us to Blade.
Let's move on to the next movie because I think we both agree Morbius is just people might be excited, but I'm not that excited for it.
Not at all. I don't think Jared Leto is going to be.
Oh yeah,
good for that. I don't like him.
I just feel like they could have, like Morbius could be like an Iron Man where they take this C-level character and make him an A-level character, but it's just based off the trailers. I'm not sold that that's going to happen. But now, all right, so after Morbius, which now has been pushed back, so it's not even in the right order anyway, in February, we got the Uncharted movie coming. What do you guys think of that?
Not really excited. I mean, like, listen, man, the Uncharted video games were a lot of fun. But, like, it's like rehashing National Treasure for me. You know what I mean?
So I don't disagree with that, but I'm excited just because I'm a giant fan of the Uncharted games, and I think you guys are both Xbox guys. I'm a Sony guy, so fuck you both.
Yeah.
Listen, I played Uncharted. I like Uncharted as the games and stuff like that. Like, I think they're a lot of fun. I think they're definitely a deep story and everything like that, but I just feel like this is going to be a big miss.
I'm hoping
nothing
it's not.
in those trailers like made me excited for it.
Well, I'm hoping it's not.
I think Tom Holland will do justice to it.
He's a great actor. I mean, and he's a likable guy. He's charismatic. So, I do think that I'm more excited. Not necessarily that it's Uncharted because I feel like it's one of those games that didn't really need a movie because it's so cinematic on its own. But I am excited that it seems like we're finally reaching a point where Hollywood is taking these video game adaptations much more seriously and doing the games justice. The Resident Evil movie, if you guys haven't seen it, the newer one, is a much better version of a Resident Evil game to movie than the originals were. I think Uncharted looks like it's a big step in the right direction. The Halo show, which we didn't even get to talk about yet, is a big step in the right direction. So like, yeah, like that. I don't think the story looks that great, but the show itself looks unbelievable. I mean, they really nailed the look of the characters, of the aliens, of the action down. Well,
aside from
Cortana, you're right. One shot.
Aside from her, she know what they fucked up.
I don't understand what the thought process is behind that, though. Let me just pull up the Halo graphic because I forgot to pull that up before. What were they thinking with Cortana? I don't understand that. Like, so they just basically painted somebody blue. That's not Cortana. I don't understand that. That's literally the big miss.
They didn't even paint her blue. Like, she's flesh toned.
They put like a blue hue over her. That's basically all they did. That's a big miss for them. I feel like they should really kind of correct it the same way Sonic was corrected because she looks nothing like she's supposed to.
I'm not really that upset about it, to be honest with you.
No,
because like at the end of the day, like not everything can look exactly like it is in the video games. I'm sure they did some tests with the flesh colored tones, and maybe it looked kind of stupid.
Maybe.
We don't like to admit sometimes that like the stuff that works in comics in video games, when you make it live action, looks kind of dopey.
Well, all right, I don't disagree with that. I will say, just on that point though, one thing I'm concerned with is that they're going to show Master Chief a lot outside of the suit.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue.
What's up, One Shot?
Wait, what'd you say, Chris?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying that I think it's pretty clear from the trailer that they're going to spend a lot of time with Master Chief outside of the suit, which to me is a no-no. He should really be in the suit.
Mando.
Yeah, 100%.
Full Mando. You want to give us one reveal with him with the helmet off? Fine, but go full Mando with it and just leave him in the suit the whole time.
I agree.
It works.
I mean, I think they should stay true to Master Chief in that sense. Like, I don't want to see his fucking face.
Right, but now the actor...
I've been playing these games for ever.
And no one's ever seen his face. And the actor they hired to play him is... I mean, I wouldn't say he's like a well-known actor, but he's not a nobody. So, like, they clearly are paying him a lot, and they pay for that face. So they're going to show it. And they've already shown in the trailer he's out of the suit a couple of times. So...
But see, like, they don't have to show it, even if they paid for it. Perfect example, Dredd.
Right, Carl Urban, he flat out said, "Do not take my helmet off." Right, I agree.
No, so you don't have to. It's just it's going to be a miss if they go that route with it. But
that's my biggest concern with it.
My hopes are high. Who's this guy, Pablo Schreiber?
Yeah,
this is the guy from American Gods.
Yeah, he was in American Gods. He was in Orange Is the New Black. He's actually he's a really good actor, and he's a great choice for Master Chief.
They're 100% showing this guy's face.
They're 100%. Yeah, they're 100% showing his face. And what bothers me is that they clearly have the rest of the Spartans without helmets, so that you can have characters you can connect to and all that kind of stuff. But you don't need to connect to Master Chief. He's supposed to be this like superhuman badass.
Mystery.
Right. That's the whole thing about him. And I feel like they're going to miss the boat on that, and they're going to show his face too much.
Yeah.
Mr. Buttersworth just said, what I'm interested in is in what point of the story are they going to start with? Which is, I feel like it's its own story. It's not going to have anything to do with the game, as they clearly made it RoboCop-ish, where Master Chief is kind of being controlled by the government, and then he starts to kind of break from his programming. I don't hate that. I know that's not really how the games went, but, I mean, they got to come up with a story somehow, so I guess that's what they're going to do. I'm a little upset that they didn't show the Halo ring in the trailer, even though we got a Halo ring in Mandalorian 2.5. But, I'm sure that's they're saving that for the big reveal for the show.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's get back to the announcements so we can get through this. Batman we talked about already. That's coming out in March. And after all the said and done, I am excited for the movie. I'm excited with tempered expectations, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going in there with kind of low expectations, and I'm hoping the movie just shatters those expectations and wins me over big time.
I'm going in there with the highest of hopes. I already think it's going to be the best Batman movie ever.
I think you're going to be disappointed.
Oh my god!
I think you're going to be disappointed. Me and One Shot are on the same page here. The next,
ever?
Yeah, not ever. It can't be ever. Dark Knight is definitely the best Batman movie ever.
Mark my words, my friends. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Well, it's going to be on YouTube and on Twitch forever now. So
exactly. Listen. If I'm wrong, you guys can all roast me in the comments.
Yeah. We'll play this clip. After Batman, we got in April. We got Sonic 2. How are you guys feeling about that one?
Sonic 2. I really the first one was all right. It was a kids movie. This is going to be a kids movie.
It's going to be more of a kids movie, isn't it? Like I feel like they're making it too childish. But it should be all animated. I don't want the live action Sonic. I like that Idris Elba's Knuckles, but
well with it.
They did do well with it. I don't disagree with that. But
I like Jim Carrey as Roboto.
He's actually really good as Robotnik. It's kind of a return to form for him. You know what I mean? Like his slapstick comedy is back. Like that's the Jim Carrey we all grew up with. So
it's a movie for kids. Like, let's call it what it is. They're trying to sell more Sonic games and more Sonic merchandise and stuff like that. He's Sony's, Mario. So, like, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with it.
Also in April, we got The Secrets of Dumbledore, the new Harry Potter, which honestly I just don't care about. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, but like I don't give a shit. I think what happened to Johnny Depp is fucked up. I love Mads Mikkelsen, but the fact that Johnny Depp was kicked out of the movie and Amber Heard turned out to be a piece of shit, I'm just not that excited about it.
Once they were done with the main story of Harry Potter, I'm out. I don't need all this extra.
Right, it's too much. It's the Hobbit all over again. You take a little story. Yeah, that's what they should have done. They took a little story from the books and they've turned it into this big movie franchise, 5 movies deep, and I'm like, why? It's just not necessary. Not a story that we needed to have. I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's skip that one then. Go to May. Doctor Strange 2. I am hyped as can be for this one.
I'm so worried. I'm so worried.
What are you worried for?
Why are you worried?
Okay, so Remember my initial worries about Spider-Man?
Yes.
Spoke about it, that I was afraid they were putting 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. I am very worried that they're doing that with this, because the amount of rumors that I'm hearing about everybody coming out of the woodworks for this. See, what happened with Spider-Man, as great as Spider-Man was, and as awesome as it was to see Tobey and Andrew, now they are on the money train. So it's like, who else can we bring back? Who else can we bring back and shove in people's faces? Until they're putting Jessica Alba in that stupid Fantastic Four suit and shoving her down our throats again. I'm not about it, man. Let's just keep the train going. Let's not go crazy with this stuff. I don't want to see Eric Bana back as Bruce Banner. I don't want to see Ben
that'd be
Affleck.
sick. Come
on.
it
wouldn't, because he was terrible. All right,
hold on.
Come on, man.
Hold the phone.
Give me Ed Norton, I'll be a little bit happier. You give
well,
me Eric Bana,
okay, that I don't disagree with. But you have
give
to.
me Ben Affleck back as Daredevil. Like,
I think Kevin Feige and Disney in this particular case has earned a little bit of leeway. I don't disagree with you. 5 years ago, I would have been like, "Oh, that's a lot to put in one movie." But they have shown us time and time again, Kevin Feige in particular, that he's got not only just a handle on what the stories that they're trying to tell, but that he knows how to pick the right people to bring back, to pick the right stories to tell, pick the right moments to show. Like, they've earned the goodwill that I don't think there's any reason to worry. No matter, they could announce that to your point, Eric Bana's coming back, Ben Affleck is coming back with Charlie Cox and a million other people. They could announce that the original Fantastic Four in the original movie that was made for TV, and that friggin' I don't know, anyone else could come back and they're going to reprise their role. And there wouldn't be a part of me that thinks, ooh, they're doing too much, because I just have faith. I have faith that they know what they're doing.
I'm just worried about the backlash from Spider-Man. Spider-Man was such a success that now they're like, ooh.
Well, but remember,
these
movies have been done for a long time now. We're just getting them now, but these movies were all supposed to come out years ago.
Yes, agreed. A lot of that had to do with COVID, but but we're here now. So I mean, look, listen, I have high hopes for it. I really hope it's not a clusterfuck.
One shot. You were gonna say something?
No, I lost service for a minute.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
All right, so after Doctor Strange in May, this movie is kind of just garbage. I'm not interested in at all. The League of Super Pets.
Yeah, it's going to be for kids.
Yeah,
for kids.
The Rock announced it, so they're trying to make it a big deal.
I'm sure kids are going to love it. I'm sure we're going to have a lot. A couple good laughs in it, and wait for that to come out on HBO Max.
Yeah, I'm not. There's no way I'm seeing that in theaters. And then also in May we got Top Gun Maverick, the sequel to the first Top Gun.
I cannot tell you how excited I am for this movie.
So, see, to me, this is one of those movies that didn't need a sequel. It doesn't need a reboot. We didn't need to go back to it. I don't understand why there's a sequel coming out. The first movie didn't leave me wanting more. I don't know. What do you think? One shot.
All about it.
You there, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think about the sequel to Top Gun? Are you excited?
Always. I love Top Gun.
Really?
All
right, so I'm by myself in this one then. I'm really not that excited about it.
Yeah, you are.
I'm really not that excited. I just don't feel like we need a sequel.
Speed, baby. Let's go.
Honestly, I want Tom Cruise to just focus on the Mission Impossible movies. I don't know why he's even doing a Top Gun. He doesn't need it.
Because he can.
So let's go to June. We got Jurassic World 3. What do you guys think?
That what it's called?
No, it's called Dominion. Dominion. Jurassic World 3 Dominion or whatever it is, yeah.
I mean, listen, the second one was what it was. I think we're going to see a lot of cool giant dinosaurs. We'll probably have some really great, crazy moments in it. And let's have a lot of fun at the movies. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at these Jurassic Park movies. I always have. It's just
if I'm being honest, I love Jurassic World, and I absolutely hated Jurassic World 2. It was just it was a terrible movie, and I really feel like even the studio knew it was bad because the marketing made it seem like the dinosaurs were gonna be going to war with the entire world, and that portion of the movie is only during the end credits. So they clearly knew it was gonna be bad. What's up, One Shot?
World, go ahead.
I don't think I'll watch the second one.
You're not missing anything. Don't even bother. It's not worth it.
No.
It's a waste of 2 hours.
Because I'm going to tell you something right now. You had a Velociraptor riding a T-Rex. Okay?
The first one had that.
I mean, that makes it pretty worth it right there.
The first one had
they were
that.
riding as friends to go fight. The first one had them attacking the T-Rex. This one, the Velociraptor was riding the T-Rex as boys to go fight the bigger dinosaur. Let's go.
No, but the first one had. The second one, don't bother with the second one. It was 2 hours of garbage. It's nonsense. And honestly, that's the first time I thought Chris Pratt really failed as a lead guy. Because I love Chris Pratt, and I just didn't think he was that good.
2 hours is not shit. If you watch any Leonardo DiCaprio movie, it's 3 hours of your time. I can watch 2 hours. I'm good.
Okay, that's a good point. So also in June, we got the new Buzz Lightyear movie, which, I love Pixar, I love Disney, and it looks good. My daughter's going to make me watch it a million times anyway. However, did we really need to see an origin story for Buzz Lightyear?
I agree with you.
That was just kind of nonsense. But you know what? I have a kid, so like anyone with kids is going to be excited for this movie because it'll just kind of keep the kids quiet for a while.
Yeah, again, it's going to be a kids movie. So
now here's a big one. July is a big month. You got Thor: Love and Thunder and Black Adam both coming out in July. So my question to you guys is, which movie is going to be the bigger movie?
Thor.
You think so?
Marvel's going to take.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. As excited as I am for Black Adam, like what we know we're getting in Thor right now is insane. We're getting Asgardians of the Galaxy. We're getting Thor God mode, basically. We're gonna get Gore the God Butcher. Like
that's crazy.
That's crazy. He's gonna have the all black Necro sword. This gives us one step closer to Null. Like a future big bad that I think is going to be a big bad in the MCU going forward. I think this Thor movie is going to have more implications for the MCU than Doctor Strange does.
I agree. I think Doctor Strange is going to essentially set us up for the next phase 5. You know what I mean? But Thor is going to really kickstart phase 5. So by the end of Doctor Strange, we'll be ready to go, and then Thor is going to really kind of get us in motion onto whatever we can expect going forward.
Yeah.
I do think, though, so Black Adam I think is going to be huge because, anything The Rock does is huge. But I have a feeling that Black Adam, and, again, I love The Rock. I might be getting a little tired of him, but I love The Rock overall. I feel like it's going to be one of those movies where it does a ton of money the first weekend and then has a huge drop-off the second weekend. It's not going to invite the repeat visits. Whereas Thor, I think people are going to, just like Spider-Man, are just going to keep going back to the theater to see this movie. Or, wherever it's available.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think it's going to be something that pops real quick. Everybody's going to go see The Rock. Everybody's going to be like, all right, that was The Rock. And then be like, all right, well, let me go see Thor: Love and Thunder one more time.
Right. I do feel bad for this next movie, though, in September. Mission Impossible 7, because everyone's going to be riding off the high of Thor: Love and Thunder and then Black Adam, that I think Tom Cruise should delay this movie because no one's going to go see Mission Impossible.
I mean, there's a whole month in between them, though.
No one's going to go see it. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to do as well. Mark my words, Mission Impossible 7, people are going to be like, Tom Cruise is too old. The movie, unless the trailer blows us away.
They say that about every Mission Impossible movie, and then it still makes $1 billion.
Well,
so
it's all going to depend on the stunt. Whatever the major stunt is that Tom Cruise does, it needs to really blow us away because I don't think anyone's going to go see it. Because everyone's going to be excited to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which comes out in October.
That's also possibly a month after that, so I don't see there being too much. There's really no competition for Mission Impossible, which is why I think people will go see it.
Maybe, but I think everyone's gonna wait for Spider-Man.
You got a month in between Black Adam and Mission Impossible. I'm assuming it's going to be. There's no date on here, but I'm assuming it's going to be Labor Day weekend, that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So you got to figure you got a month in between Black Adam and that, and then you got a whole nother month until Spider-Man comes out.
It's all going to depend on the trailer, and honestly, I think I can see Mission Impossible being released as a streaming option same day it releases in theaters, which is going to affect the numbers for sure.
I think they're trying to get away from that right now. I think with COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, and I think they should get away from it because I feel like it's just not fair to all the people who put the effort into these movies, and then no one, it just doesn't make sense, but. I'm very excited for the next Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is still one of my top 2 Spider-Man movies in general. After No Way Home, I think Into the Spider-Verse still might be my favorite, and No Way Home is a close number 2. But I mean, it's a fantastic movie. So this sequel has a lot riding on it.
It does. I mean, I think the 2099 Spider-Man is a smart play.
I agree.
I agree. I don't know how many other places they're going to go with it. I don't know if they're going to go, as far as like I know Spider-Gwen's coming back. We know that. We know we're going to see her and Miles.
Well, I really hope that they bring the live action. Like I hope Tom Holland reprises his Spider-Man for the movie. Not obviously. I don't want to see the live action Tom Holland. I want to see an animated version. But it should be the same Spider-Man. Just for a cameo, just for a quick thing. Like they should just connect them both for 100%. They're prime for that. So I'm super excited.
I mean, listen, if What If is canon, then why can't Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse?
Exactly, 100%. And then we got the Flash in November, which is like Flash.
Remember what I said about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? It applies to this too.
Yeah,
I think DC doing it, I have no faith in that.
Yeah, no. See now, when it comes to the Flash, I agree with you. I agree 100%. There's no way they're going to handle the size of this movie that well. Yeah. And it's what's up?
I do like that they're doing Flashpoint. I think it's a really strong starting story to go with. I think it's a very smart way of kind of like resetting things.
Yeah.
But I'm just afraid. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Keaton's coming back. He's going to be playing not Bruce Wayne, but Thomas Wayne.
Well, no. So he's playing Bruce Wayne. He's playing the same Batman that he played in 1989.
No. So if they're doing Flashpoint's story is that Joe Chill doesn't kill Batman's parents. He kills Bruce Wayne.
No, I understand that, but he's already confirmed that he's playing Bruce Wayne. He's playing the same Batman that he played.
Right now.
Oh, am I back yet?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
No, Michael Keaton himself has confirmed that he's actually returning as Batman, the same Batman from Batman Forever. Batman Returns. And Ben Affleck is also going to be Batman, his version of Batman in this movie. So
I think Affleck is going to be in the beginning before Barry goes back in time. And then when Barry goes back in time, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the true Flashpoint story it's a genius story, and I hope that they just do it right out of the pages, because the Flash goes back, stops his mom from getting killed. It changes history all over the place. Mm-hmm. And what happens with Batman is, like I said, Joe Chill, instead of killing Batman's parents, he kills Bruce Wayne. Thomas Wayne ends up becoming Batman, and Martha Wayne goes crazy and ends up becoming the Joker.
Right, and I think we're going to get that, but I think we're going to get a different actor playing Thomas Wayne. I don't think we're going to get. I don't think Michael Keaton. I'm almost 100% positive he's confirmed that he's playing the same character he played before.
You think that's the story we're getting?
Well, I think we're going to get a portion of that. Like an adaptation.
They're going to fuck it up.
I
hope we don't.
I agree.
I hope we don't, because they will fuck that up.
I agree they're going to fuck it up. I have zero faith this movie's going to be good. I'm telling you right now.
He's talking about, like, I've read that. I love that. If they fuck that up, I'll never watch another DC.
I have absolute zero faith. I'm gonna look in the camera and say this very clearly. I have absolutely zero faith that this movie's gonna be good. They're gonna ruin it. They're honestly gonna ruin it, and I feel like the whole idea is for this movie to restart the DCEU, kind of reset things so they can kind of right the ship. There's no way they're gonna do a good job. I just know it. I just know they're not gonna do a good job. I want them to. Believe me, I want them to.
For some reason,
I don't believe it.
And DC's done this with the comics. Completely nuked all of their storylines and brought us the New 52, and everybody hated it. Mm-hmm. Hated every step of it.
Yep.
They tried to force feed us this shit in the comics. They gave us all new things. Like they retconned everything. Like it was just a mess. It was an absolute mess. Besides a few titles, and besides like the stuff that Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo were doing with Batman, and what Jai Lee was doing with Superman, and the stuff they did with Flash, everything else was just terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're going to do that with the movies now.
Now here's the problem too. Remember, just looking at this screenshot here that the Captain gave us, the Flash comes out November 4th. Wakanda Forever comes out a week later.
I wouldn't be surprised if that gets pushed back.
I think that's going to get pushed. One of them is going to get pushed back because you can't have them competing. If Black Panther 2 comes out a week after The Flash, then by default the Flash movie is going to do terribly. Nobody's going to.
I kind of have a little inside knowledge on Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of problems.
Well, didn't they just announce though that it was delayed again because of some sort of COVID problem?
I think they're using COVID as an excuse. From what I'm hearing, there's a lot of problems.
Oh, really? Well,
a lot of problems.
So
actors aren't happy on the set. There's a lot of issues going on with it. As far as writing wise, they've had to rework the story a few times. I think they're having a lot of issues trying to figure out how they go forward without T'Challa.
Yeah, well, I don't really blame them for that because it's just another tragedy that.
Yeah, it's something out of their hands, but like, you got to make a decision somewhere and stick to it and just hope that it works at this point, or scrap the whole thing and just give them the send off and just there's no more Black Panther.
I definitely got to get a new calendar here because I'm just looking at some of the stuff that's coming up that we haven't talked about yet, and like Moon Knight is to be determined, but that's coming out in March, so they kind of reworked all this. Yeah. No, but Black Panther 2, I could see that being delayed. I just keep hearing a lot of things about it.
What I really think they should do with it is just have a send off for Chadwick Boseman, have a nice thing in it for him, and just give us the story of Wakanda and how they're getting along without a king, and don't give us a Black Panther anymore.
Yeah.
And at the end, Shuri becomes the Black Panther or something but we don't need a Black Panther.
It'll be a miracle, honestly, if this movie comes out and it has a coherent story. Honestly, it'll just kind of be a miracle. Yeah. I feel like it's gonna be one of the first big misses from Marvel. They've had a few stinkers, but this is gonna be one of the first big misses, I think.
Yeah.
So moving along, I really could give two shits about Avatar 2. I was not a fan of the first one.
I'm all about live action Fern Gully. Let's see it again.
We already have it. Avatar 1. We didn't need a sequel. We definitely don't need 4 more. It's taken so long for this one to come out. I just don't even understand why they're even pursuing it.
Some of these movies, I mean, what I'm excited for Avatar 2 is for whatever crazy stuff that James Cameron has been developing for the past 10 years.
It's going to look amazing. I think 100% it's going to look fantastic. And it's 100% going to be a movie you got to see in theaters. That's not going to be a movie you see at home. But
I mean, by that point, he might be handing out VR goggles to everybody.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? You're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? This guy, he developed most of the modern CGI that we're using today. All the stuff that Disney's using, it was all from Cameron.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what. And he said that he had to wait to bring Avatar 2 to us because he needed technology to catch up to what he envisioned.
Which is nuts.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the first one visually was amazing, story-wise.
What did he envision? 4D.
Pocahontas with big blue cats.
Yeah. That's what it was. It was Pocahontas. I mean, if you like Pocahontas or Last of the Mohicans, then I guess you like this movie.
Exactly.
We also have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special in December. I mean, that'll be entertaining. It's coming to Disney Plus. That's nothing crazy. We have Aquaman 2 in December. Now that I'm excited for. I loved Aquaman. I thought Aquaman was an unbelievable movie, beginning to end. I thought everyone in it was great. The special effects were great. It's one of the few examples of DC actually doing the CGI justice and not making it look too shitty. So I'm super excited for the next one. I'm a big fan of Jason Momoa, so.
My big problem is DC's track record with sequels right now is not great. So.
Right, and if they start trying to use Aquaman 2 to set up future characters or movies, then they're going to fuck it up. If they focus on just Aquaman, then we're all right. Although, again, Wonder Woman 84 focused on her and completely ruined her. So, who knows? But I'm a fan. I'll wait till the trailers. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree.
So now the rest of these are not. There's no date for them yet. The Secret Wars Marvel show, which I think is going to be fantastic. With Samuel L. Jackson handling the Secret Invasion. I'm sorry, Secret Wars. I said. I meant
they're filming right now.
Yeah, so that might come out later this year, but I think it'll come out next year, and I think it's going to be great though. I think it's going to be a really good show, with the Skrulls basically infiltrating.
There's a lot more answers than anything else.
I agree. I think it's going to be huge. We got Miss Marvel, which the character everyone's upset by them changing her power set in the show, But to give Marvel an answer to kind of combat or have a direct like a version of Green Lantern, say, is not a bad idea. So I'm excited for that one.
I think they changed her powers to be more in line with Eternals.
I agree.
And less in line with Inhumans.
Yeah, I agree, because the Inhumans show sucked, and I feel like Marvel doesn't even want to go back there. They don't want to touch
I don't think they're going to go back there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Even though Black Bolt's probably one of the most important characters in the comics.
Yeah, but they can bring him in and they can call him a mutant or something like that. They don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to go back to the Inhuman bucket. We got She-Hulk at some point is coming, which the very little. It is supposed to come this year.
Right after Moon Knight, probably.
Yeah,
I think it's going to go Moon Knight, Obi-Wan, and then She-Hulk right on the tail end of that.
Because Ms. Marvel is supposed to come out later this year, so I think I agree. It's either going to be Moon Knight, Obi-Wan, and then either She-Hulk or Ms. Marvel, and then one of those two is going to round out the year for us for sure. So we got Obi-Wan, we already talked about. Moon Knight's coming out in March, and then we got Andor, which I'm super excited to hear more about the show. However, I don't know that the character needed his own show. That's again one of the issues with Disney, where they keep, especially with Star Wars, they keep wanting to stick to the small little universe they built out. I want new characters. I don't need to. We already know how Andor's story ends.
That might be new characters though.
Yeah, but we already know how his story ends. So why do we need another show?
Agreed. We know how it ends, but we know how Rogue One ends, and that's the best Star Wars movie they've put out in a long time.
Well, that's definitely true. That was a freaking phenomenal.
You know what I mean? They could still make it good. We're gonna have to wait and see on that. One thing I wanted to say about She-Hulk real quick is I think that's the next time we see Charlie Cox.
You think you're gonna see him in that movie? Oh, in that show, probably. I can see that.
Yeah,
I'd
assume
here?
so.
Oh, you're down here. Hold on, Steve jumped out of the chat, so I need to get you back on screen. Let me get you back on screen here. Damn it. Where are you? Hold on, let's change this. There you go. Oh, you somehow got flat for some reason. I don't know why that happened. All right. So that's basically all the announcements for this year, for what we got coming. I think we have a lot to look forward to be honest. I mean, for the most part, the majority of these I'm excited about. And I will say the majority of the ones I'm excited about are Marvel and Disney-owned properties, which is probably no coincidence since they've been the ones that have been on fire. They are due for a downfall at some point, and I'm just hoping that I don't have to deal with that in my lifetime.
I mean, we're going to, but I think we've already kind of pinpointed where that's going to be. I think it's going to be Wakanda forever, but I think they'll be able to bounce back from that and figure it out.
They'll be able to bounce back, and I think again, Kevin Feige's a smart dude, and I feel like he's holding on to the X-Men because when we start to get a little fatigued with the Marvel stuff that's coming out now, I think for him it'll be like, all right, when people stop kind of wanting to see the Fantastic Four or the Guardians or whatever, he's going to suddenly hit us with a Wolverine movie. Or something like that, and it's going to be like renewing our interest again. He's a smart dude. He knows what he's doing.
A while back, it went into pre-production. They bought Fox. It was Wolverine versus the Hulk.
Yep.
I think that's how he's going to bring Wolverine in. If he doesn't do it in Deadpool,
I almost guarantee I'll put money down on it that Hugh Jackman will be reprising his role in Deadpool 3. Maybe for a cameo. I don't think it's going to be a big role like that. I don't think
it's going to be a cameo.
Yeah, I don't think Hugh Jackman wants to, get back into the jacked Wolverine mode, but he has always said that the only way he'll reprise his role is if he could be in a movie with Ryan Reynolds and specifically with Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds has basically pushed for it. And I think we're 100% going to get a cameo, a role. I'd be surprised if it's huge.
Deadpool's one of those things too, where like you don't necessarily have to follow the script with Deadpool.
Right.
You go all different places with him.
Right.
Like, you know, you can just be like, it's a different universe, this Deadpool, and this is what he does in this one.
And he'll acknowledge it. He'll literally acknowledge, like, wait, didn't I go to sleep in an old universe? Like, he'll flat out say it.
Yeah,
I still think, and I'll keep saying this until somebody at Marvel can hear me, and, like, you know, I don't even know if I get any credit for it. I think that they need to use Deadpool as the new Stan Lee cameo. How funny would it be if Ryan Reynolds, if you brought him into a studio, put him in the Deadpool outfit, and then just various costumes on top of it, mailman and delivery guy, whatever it is, and you just randomly, you have him just appear in these movies as a cameo, and have him call out that he's, you know, it's not Stan Lee, but it's something. I think it'd be hysterical. 100% it'd be hysterical.
Listen, it's a pretty good idea. I like it, but I definitely want to see a Deadpool 3.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm super excited for it. I from what I've heard, I know you posted the fan made poster, and someone was like, "Oh, it's fan made," and I posted the link to the like, it's coming.
It's coming.
They're writing it right now.
They've been writing it. Right, Ryan Reynolds, I got to find the link, but he had said in an interview somewhere, or maybe he posted somewhere on his Instagram, that the goal is to have it finished writing and go into full blown pre-production before the end of this year. So I don't know what that means as far as like its involvement in the MCU or whatever, but like he's pushing to make this happen. He's already worked out the deals. It's just a matter of getting the script done and then getting rolling on hiring the actors and all that
now, talk about a cameo I want to see. If they show us him in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh my God, that'd be freaking hysterical.
Let's go.
Again, just a quick cameo. You don't need much. For me, with Deadpool, you don't need much. You need him to look at the camera, make a joke, and then get him off camera. That's all you got to do. Yeah. Eventually, you give him his own movie, but you just tease us with that little moment, 30 seconds of him on screen, and it's enough.
Yeah, just have him be the Bugs Bunny of the MCU.
100%. But all right, you know? That's we've been going on for almost 2 hours. I don't want to bore anybody else. One shot, I saw you jump back into the chat. And I saw we lost you for a second, but thanks for taking the time out. I know you're a busy man. And Zuplex, welcome to the group. Welcome to the mod community. And let's go. Oh, we got Steve on camera. Video. What's up, man?
Muted, though.
Yeah, I think we lost him. I think we're losing him again.
It's on Crooked Wireless.
He's probably got AT&T.
Off your Boost Mobile.
He's breaking up. He's breaking up on us over here. Oh, wrong guy.
You got me for...
Nah, you're all messed up. You're all messed up here. All right, man.
Oh, Wally.
All right, guys. We're going to call it a night. And thank you guys for taking the time out. And just bullshitting with me for a few hours and drinking a little bit. If you didn't have a drink, next time make sure you have a drink, because that makes this all that much more fun. I think I'm going to go and play some NHL 22. And I will talk to you guys later at some point. Keep an eye out. I am going to be going live and fulfilling my Mike Tyson's Punch-Out or NES Punch-Out dream. See how far I can get. I know Zuplex, do you have any idea of when you plan on going on with your show?
So like we spoke about, just so everybody knows, I'm not going to be doing lives due to work schedules and stuff like that. So you're going to be getting a pre-filmed video from me probably next week.
Nice. I do want to try and get on every Tuesday if anyone's around at 8:30, just to kind of talk about different reviews. I'll be talking about the next episode of Boba Fett, Peacemaker, any new announcements throughout the week, just to kind of help people stay on top of everything. And, TheCaptain has been streaming constantly with some Call of Duty tournaments, stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that. If you have not already, join us. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I see I got a bunch of links down below. We're all over the place. TikTok. The majority of the comments and tournaments and stuff like that, go on to the Facebook group and the TikTok group. I will be doing another tournament. We had a lot of success and a lot of good conversations with the Ultimate Marvel Movie Tournament. And I'm currently working on the next one with One Shot, with Zuplex, and a few of the other guys in the GGEN mods. And keep an eye out for all the good stuff. And thank you guys for jumping in. I will see you guys next week if I don't see you before then. And GG everybody, and have a good night.